What is going on YouTube? This is Nick with Hilltoptcg back with another video. And today, guys, we're going to see if it's worth cracking slabs. What is going on, Hilltoptcg family? Guys, that's right. Today we are going to be cracking open slabs to see if it is worth it in value added backpack just by opening the slab up and getting the raw card out, you guys. So we have some pretty high-end slabs here. I mean, some decently priced one really high-end one. So let's take a look at the slabs here real quick. We're going to take a look at the market and talk about, is it worth it? And then I'll show you guys how I personally crack a slab. If you've never seen it before, I'll do one and then I'll crack open all the other ones and we'll look over the cards at the end, because it is kind of a slow process and this will probably be a 45-minute video if I show you guys every single slab being cracked. Look at the board here. So we have the Charizard from Hidden Fates, the holy grail of Charizards in my opinion as of recent sets. Hidden Fates Charizard, this is a 9, you guys. So this is a 9, so keep that in mind here. A 10 is just absolutely out of bounds in value. 9 is just around market value, so keep that in mind. We have a Venusaur. This is probably our lowest tier one. Venusaur EX from 151, and it is a PSA 8. PSA 8, so we're going to look over these 8s really up close to see why it got an 8, because typically that's some type of surface issue, possibly a regrade maybe even on that guy. We have another 151, the Charizard, and then an 8 as well, guys. So we'll see the theme here in a second on 8s, in my opinion, but a lot of Charizard boy here. Then we have the Glaceon V from Evolving Skies in a 9 that we're going to look at. And then one of my favorite cards from the modern era, the Gengar VMAX from Fusion Strike, you guys. This bad boy is in an 8 as well. So let's take a look at the market on these cards and we'll talk about the grading and why that relates here. So here we go, guys. We're on pricecharting.com. And this is my favorite resource as of late. I was really slow to start using this, and now it's like my favorite tool. If you guys haven't used price charting, once you get a hang of it, it's really awesome. So we have the Charizard pulled up. We have the PSA 9 in this Charizard. So if you look at the PSA 9 price, we're at $320. $320 for a graded. That's including shipping. These are based off of most recent eBay comps. So this is a great tool because it literally extracts all the sales from eBay and then puts it in here, like TCG player, all the things. Like it aggregates all the prices in the best way. So look at this ungraded price. We're at basically we're right at 320 as well. So either way, right around 320. So raw card is 320, graded card is also 320. So from a 9 perspective, if you're looking for a great binder card, in many cases, you're going to see better deals on graded 9 cards than the ungraded, because a lot of these higher end cards are just being graded instantly, automatically. People want to grade them. So the market for raw cards is a lot smaller. And right there, same price. So if you have a raw card that you bought for $320 and you don't get a 10, you're losing that grading fee price on what you bought the raw card for. Just keep that in mind. So let's take a look at the Venusaur. This is our lower end one, and this was in an 8. So this is the slimmest margin, but take a look at this. So in a graded 8, we're at $31.63. So basically $32, right? Ungraded is at $40. So if I just by buying this slab in an 8 and opening it up, you're at a $40 price point. Yes, there's probably centering issues, some things that might knock it down a little bit more, but most people are still going to buy the raw card for a binder collection at market price at $40. So there's an instant $8 profit. And as the cards get more expensive, you're going to notice here that your margin can be even higher. So $89.27, so basically 89 bucks. Raw card is almost 110. So that's over a $20 profit. If you buy a graded 8 card, you crack it open, and you go sell it raw, your odds of getting around this price point, you're going to be making $20 just on buying the card in an 8. And we're going to talk about why I'm picking on 8s here, not lower grades, when I probably onto the Gengar page here. And then we have the Glaceon V. This one was in a 9 as well. So this one, I've grabbed 9 just to show you that we're at around 86 bucks. And ungraded is $89. So $85 to $89. So it's just still even a few dollars profit buying a graded 9 and just cracking it open. If you're looking for an awesome binding card, graded 9s are still have, most of them have a really good chance at a 10. Even the 9.5s are slim, but then you get into a 10 and you're doubling your money. That's why people do it. So a 9, you're getting your value back just by opening a PSA graded 9 card, raw, same price. So here's where it gets, this is where it gets crazy. This is where it gets crazy. We have the Gengar VMAX. Graded 8 card is right around 200 plus, has shipping on here. So let's call it ungraded card $260, $270. Even go $270 in this example. $270 is our graded 8 card price. If you bought it for that price and an 8, and then you went and resold it raw, you're making $327. You're making almost a $60 profit. $60 on just opening the slab in an 8 and selling it. That's insane to me. Think about that, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know where I'm out of bounds, where I'm wrong. I mean, it's a thing. It's genuine a thing. That's why you don't see a lot of 8s on eBay. Why I haven't picked on grades lower than an 8. So you can see a graded 7 here is at $173. A graded 8 is typically still a really clean card. There may be a small surface imperfection. The centering might be really off, but the card is still a mint condition card in my opinion. On a graded 8 card, it still says near mint on the card. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. So why I'm not going, and you're not going to find too many cards of at least the modern era in a 5, 6, or 7 that's in a mint condition state. So you're not going to go sell the ungraded card in a mint condition state. So the grade 8 is about that perfect range. If you can find 8s, and a lot of these modern cards, the graded 8 cards are going to be cheaper than the raw card, which just blows my mind. Blows my mind. And so that's why I'm not picking on those lower grade ones, because they're not technically near mint. Just crazy, guys. So let's take a look at these slabs again. I mean, keep that in mind. We had let's pick on this Gengar as we look at this board. $320 card versus a $300 or $260 price point, basically, right? So here we go. I mean, let's look at this Gengar. Just looking at it in the slab. This is why I kind of picked it up. I mean, the centering is a little bit thin over here, a little bit heavy over here. Still a great centered card. Top to bottom, it looks great. On the back, centering is really awesome. The corners look fantastic. And the centering is decent. I mean, this should have gotten at least a 9 and a chance at a 10. So what I'm saying is when we'll crack these open, we'll take a little peek and see if there's some type of surface imperfection that we don't see here, because there's a reason why it got an 8. This should have been a 9, maybe a chance at a 10. Centering's a little too off, but probably an easy 9. But right there, when I crack this bad boy open, it's going to be a $60 profit right there, because the card is still really, really clean. Unless there's some type of really big ding or dent in the surface that I can't see when it's in the slab, someone's still going to buy it for that near mint price, right? So let's take a look here. Let's pick on the most cheap one to kind of show you guys how I crack something open. Then I'm going to crack these all off camera, so you don't have to sit here and wait for me to crack these open, because it is a pretty slow process and you got to take your time, or else you could damage the card. So typically what I do is put it under get a little cloth, a big wash towel that you're doing your dishes with, and put it over it while you do this step. I did a clear bag just so you can kind of see what I'm doing with clippers. So if you haven't ever seen this before, go get yourself a good needle nose plier. So not just the stock standard one. This is a little bit of an upgraded version, a little bit heavier duty. There's ones that are actually spring loaded that can actually apply more pressure, which are even better. But this one works out just fine. So basically what you're gonna go do is I'm gonna put it under the bag just so you guys can, I'm gonna hold it like this, and to kind of keep, because this is basically plexiglass that they're using, so it does kind of like to shatter. I already cracked one for a reel, and I'm using the same bag here. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna try taking off as much of the corner as I can, as you can kind of see here. I'm trying to take off as much of the corner as I can, and then you really just gotta use maybe 2 hands, bam, okay? So now you can see corner is broken off, okay? I'm gonna take a little look at it. You gotta kind of look and see if there's a little opening. So once I crack this out, if you can kind of see there, we can probably get our screwdriver in there. There's a little bit of an opening. You can kind of see the red there. there's a little bit of an opening. So what I like to do is go and do the same thing on the other side. Again, try to take off as much of the slab that you can. Put your eyes away. Use protection, even though I'm putting it in a bag. Definitely need to use some eye protection, because it is like plexiglass right here. It kind of came out. I mean, it's sharp. It'll get your eyeball. So if you're doing this without the towel or anything like that, make sure to protect your eyeball. So right there, just absolutely mutilated slab. You can kind of see the red peeking out already on this one. So then the next step, you guys, this is the most cautious step that you need to have here. Grab yourself a screwdriver. Sometimes I'll grab a little bit of like a straight blade, a little razor blade, and make sure that you can kind of get in there, and I'll wiggle her around a little bit, just to loosen it up just a titch on both sides, because this is obviously a little bit thinner than a screwdriver. This side might be a little bit more difficult. There we go. So you just kind of get it in there, and you can hear it cracking. You just kind of wiggle it around a little bit, finesse it. I might not even need the screwdriver for this one. So as there, you're kind of cracking this little top seam. So you're cracking the top seam. So then now you can go in here and get your screwdriver and just kind of really shove it in there and do the same thing. So it cracked kind of down the middle right there. So then we'll go over here and get it in there. Ooh, see, you gotta be careful. You can really get in there and see how close the screwdriver is to the card. If I do that in the Hidden Fates one, I'd cry, because that's your biggest risk here, is damaging the card that you have. You could dent it. So if this card slides around while you're doing this and gets recompressed on the little side pieces, that can be an issue here. So now you get in there and you just kind of start prying up on it. And you don't want to really, at this point, you don't want to let it go down, because then, like I said, you can re-crimp your card, and then boom, there we go. Getting to the point where you can just kind of use it with your hands. You can get the little PSA piece out. Oh, it's going down beneath the card there. And you just got to keep working with it. There we go. There's a little bit of a crack there. And then the card is loose. There it is. So I don't ever really take the whole top of the card off. You got to be really careful with this at this point to not damage your card. All right, so I got it out. And then we're going to slowly take it out. And then boom, there you go. So card, thing open. We got the little graded piece. It's still going to hold in there. And I mean, it likes to seal itself back shut. And there you go. We have our Venusaur right out of the case. I'm going to look at it now real quick. So there's a little, maybe little surface thing right here on the side. Just kind of taking a look at this to see why it's potentially an 8. Not seeing anything right off that's like, whoa, there's a big dent on here. Oh, I can see it. So down here on the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see it too much. I'm gonna try to angle it a little bit. There is, right there, you can kind of see it. There is a dent right there in the card. So it's not just a whitening, it's actually some type of like surface imperfection. And there's a little bit of a big whitening piece right there as well. So that dent right there can take it instantly down to an 8, which is still like, I mean, it's not like a crazy dent. Like you can go sell this card as near mint all you want, right? You could obviously highlight the little part down here if you're a shop, right? But I mean, you might knock off a couple bucks for that, but you're still making more money than what it was in the PSA 8. All right, guys, so that's how I crack open a slab. Like this one right here, I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious with. I'm gonna take a little bit more of my time to crack this open. So we're gonna crack open the other 4 slabs that I have, and we're gonna take a look at the raw outcome. All right, you guys, I got all of the cards out of their slabs. I mean, Charizard was a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, I got them out. You just gotta be careful, like I showed you guys. Get off the corners, just get that screwdriver in and just be, nice and back and forth, and it'll eventually pop out and you can slide your card out. So this card, this Charizard, was a PSA 9, which is actually really generous. I mean, as you can see outside the slab, the centering on that little black border is just not what it should be for a 10, right? And then you look at the back, and the centering is off from that left side to the right side. Surface, as I'm looking at it, looks really good, to be honest. It's just that centering on the front. So why would I do this on a Charizard that's this expensive, this rare? Because there's not a lot of rare cards. This card, even though it's not the best centered is gonna go for market price, because you just can't find a lot of raw Charizards in Hidden Fates these days. All of them are graded, right? So now I have a raw version. Yes, the centering's a little off, but it's still the raw card that people will pay for, right? So that's nice there. That one matches up there. Let's take a look at this guy who got an 8. Yep, right? So, I mean, my biggest thing for me, looking at the surface on the front, looks really pretty clean. Centering obviously off from that left side to right side. And then looking at the back here, make sure again you're collecting the remnants of this plexiglass, because it can hurt your eyeballs or hurt you. So make sure you're being careful. Center on this one's okay. I mean, the edge wear, you can kind of see it right there. I mean, it's pretty significant. I'm not even holding up to the camera. Pretty solid there. There was some lint on it as I was taking it out, so that could have been a thing. If you don't clean your cards, guys, they will ding you down on that front. The other thing that I maybe saw is there's a little bit of wear up over here over that CH on the Charizard. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera. Yeah, it's pretty minuscule. So, I mean, this guy, I mean, the centering's off to the point where it's not worth regrading, but it would probably maybe get a 9. But again, that's not worth going out and regrading it. The Glaceon was in a 9. And this one, I mean, the centering is fairly decent. It might not be that 60-40 threshold that PSA wants you to have. The back is about the same. I mean, a little off from left to right, top to bottom, so it's not meeting that PSA 10 quality threshold. Everything else surface-wise looks incredible. On this card is probably just that centering, because the corners look good. They are bringing it down. I would not regrade this one either. There are cards that do have the opportunity to regrade. I would definitely take advantage of that, but I just really wanted to highlight in this video that it is worth cracking a lot of these open to just get that raw card. This bad boy was an 8. I mean, the centering right here, a little bit off from that left side to right side, and then the back is impeccable. The back centering is fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, the top is a little bit maybe heavier than the bottom. Corners look absolutely incredible. Corners are insane. I'm looking over this card for surface issues, and I see absolutely nothing on the front. There's no like printing error. Sometimes when there's ink bleeds or things like that, you can have an issue. This card might be very much a contender for me to go resend off and see if it gets a 10. Like, genuinely. This one, I clean it up, make sure there's no fingerprints or anything on it. That back is perfect. This bad boy is probably going to go get sent off to regrade. I might take a little bit closer look at it off camera, use that black light kind of thing and just to see, but that is a good contender for a regrade. I mean, we saw it over here. We can go back to it on this window. Is in a 10. I bought this card for less than $260, and if I get a 10, it's almost a $700 card with shipping, $650. So is it worth spending an extra $15 and maybe seeing if it gets it and recracking it again? Maybe. I might 100% do it. So there you go, guys. I mean, there's a little bit of insight for you in my process of business, right? I mean, the grading scene is just insane. People grade cards left and right these days. They're choosing to grade stuff more than anything else. So your raw cards are not as abundant. They're not near as abundant versus graded cards on these higher end special cards like the Charizard, the Gengars, because everybody gets it, they hit it, and they go, okay, I'm going to grade it and see if I get a 10. And then it might get stuck in a PSA 8 slab forever, and you know what? Crack it open, and then it's worth more raw. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think about this process in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious if you guys think this is wrong. Do you think it's a great business decision? What are your thoughts on it? I genuinely want to know. So there you go, you guys. Hey, if you guys made it to the end of this video, you are an absolute legend. Have a great night, weekend, whatever's for you. Peace.